In this video, we're going to talk about the 10 things that you typically just see Floridians do. And so if you're somebody that's looking to move here to Florida, or perhaps you're just looking to stay here part-time, watch this video because this video is going to give you insights in terms of Floridians' habits, which may very well become your own habits as well. So let's get right into this video. Up north in the winter time, you'll see a lot of people wearing boots. They'll have all sorts of boots for different occasions. Here, especially on the southern side of Florida, you'll have people that wear sandals year round. Now, in the winter time, it will dip into the 60s, maybe colder further up north Florida. But even then, I've seen people wear sandals with socks on. Sandals, especially flip-flops, are our prized possessions. And typically we have all sorts of flip-flops for different occasions. This is the type of sandal I would typically wear to the beach. Now, these ones I usually wear with jeans while I'm out and about. Sometimes, depending on where I'll go to dinner, a place that's more casual, I'll wear these sandals, which I kind of consider a little bit dressier than these other two. Flip-flops are really an everyday wear here, and it's guaranteed that you'll find a pair of flip-flops in pretty much everyone's closet. Floridians are very aware of what to do when caught in a lightning storm, and that is because Florida is known as the lightning capital in the US. I think actually it might be in the world. There's more death due to lightning in Florida than anywhere in the US. There's a thunderstorm coming in. This is pretty much every day. In the summertime, it can just, come in pretty much any time of the day. But usually it's in the afternoon. And so what I do is I look at the radar, the weather forecast, to kind of see when it's anticipated that comes in, because I do a lot of bike riding, and the last thing I want to do is be stuck in the middle of one of those lightning storms. We know kind of what to do if we're caught outside during a lightning storm, because chances are it's going to happen whether you're walking your dog or you're bicycling. So you want to find shelter. Now, if you can't find shelter, what you do not want to do is stay close to a body of water. You don't want to be underneath a tree. You don't want to be on the highest hill. And so what the CDC actually suggests you do is, if you have no other choices, is to get down, crouch down almost into a ball, have your hands over your ears, and then just kind of wait out the lightning storm. So here's a trick for you in order to determine how far away lightning is. From the moment that you see lightning, you start counting until you hear thunder. And let's just assume you got to 10. You divide that number, whatever number you came to, you divide it by 5. So if we counted until 10, that gives us 2. And essentially what that means is that lightning's about 2 miles away from you. And that just gives you a better idea of how imminent the threat is for a lightning storm. So once you move here, you're really gonna learn these different kinds of tricks, because you're gonna have to deal with the weather patterns that we have here in Florida, and some of it is rather extreme. Most Floridians kind of just roll their eyes every time they hear another Florida man story, because at this point we've heard so many of them, but also it kind of happens anywhere. It doesn't just happen here in Florida, right? I mean, you get dumb and stupid people anywhere in the world. It just so happens that the media has put so much attention on Florida men. I must admit, one of my favorite stories is the guy that got caught for drug possession because he actually had a shirt on that said, "I have drugs on me." Okay, I must say that's pretty funny, but at this point, it's like, come on, media. We got better things to talk about than the Florida man. Yes, we're a bit immune when it comes to all these stories. Now, if you guys get a chuckle from it, and it's a lighthearted Florida man story, all right, we'll have a little bit of fun with it. Most people who live in Florida absolutely love living here and will defend the state. There's a lot of love and hate for Florida right now. Some of it is driven by kind of the political aspect of what's happening here in Florida. It's somewhat politically divided, but so is the rest of the US. And I think it's important that no matter where you live, you find commonalities with the people you work with, your neighbors. Others from the outside are saying, well, why are people moving to Florida? It makes no sense. It's too hot. It's too humid. It's overcrowded. Defending the state is something that we're very passionate about because we love living here. Of course, there is no such thing as a perfect place, but Florida for many people is an amazing place to move to when you are looking for the warmer weather, when you are looking for some of the most amazing beaches, when you are looking for a more relaxing lifestyle. Most of us prefer it over the snowy days. Summer's extremely rainy. We'll have a thunderstorm a day practically. So what a lot of Floridians will do when they're caught in their car during a rainstorm, they'll just park their car and they'll wait it out, because we all know that most rainstorms here will last half an hour. Of course, if there's a hurricane that comes in, it's going to last way longer than that. It could last even a few days. But just a general summer rainstorm, those are very fast. And we know that. We park our car, we'll sit in the car and we'll wait out the rainstorm. Floridians prepare for the hurricane season before it even arrives, because chances are we're going to encounter a hurricane a year. So the official season starts from June 1st until November 30th, with the peak being in September to October. So that's typically when a hurricane will brush through, or maybe even two. Before the hurricane season starts, a lot of us will prepare a kit just in case we need to evacuate or we need to go somewhere in order to be safer than our own house. And the kit usually will include all the essentials, from water to non-perishable food, medicine that you would need, flashlights, a battery operated radio, whatever else you feel is essential, clothing, just so you have an essential kit, a bag ready to go in case you need to get out of your house as quickly as possible. A few years ago we went through Irma. That was predicted to be very bad in the area I live in, which is Sarasota. Luckily for us, we were never in the eye of a hurricane, but it was predicted to be bad enough, and we decided to drive up north a bit late in the game, where a lot of people made that decision one day before the hurricane was supposed to arrive. Gas stations were running out of gas. Some people were stranded because they didn't have enough gas to actually get to their destination. Fortunately for us, we actually made it. We drove 4 hours up north and stayed in a hotel room for a few days, and we actually had a prepared checklist in terms of what we needed to do in case of a bad hurricane coming in. We knew we needed to bring all the furniture indoors, and we knew exactly where the furniture was going to go. We didn't board our windows because we have hurricane-proof windows, but some of you may want to board up your windows. And you're also going to want to know, where do you evacuate to in case you need to find shelter? So in Sarasota, a lot of the schools actually converted into a shelter, but we decided that it made more sense for us to drive up north. And so we're very good at getting the weather reports and also understanding how to prepare for a potential hurricane, because we're going to have to deal with it likely every year. If the hurricane isn't predicted to be so bad, then it can actually be kind of a fun event, I must say. A lot of Floridians will actually utilize that time to have a hurricane party with their family and friends. It's very similar to having a snow party up north. In Florida, we have a lot of fire ants. What we typically do when we're outside, especially when we're in a sunny, grassy area, we typically look down to see where we're walking, because chances are there's going to be fire ants around. And these fire ants, they're tiny little ants. When you step on one of those mounts they're in, they get very aggressive. They'll come rushing up and they'll try as a team to really push in that venom. It hurts, because it actually happened to me. I didn't believe that there were fire ants so vicious as there are here in Florida. And so when I first moved here, I was walking my dog. I had sandals on and I stepped on one of those fire ant hills. It was quick. As soon as I stepped on there, I felt that pain. And I'm so cognizant of these fire ant hills now, because I know how painful they are and how fast they can actually bite. I should say that they can be pretty bad for animals, so you want to make sure that your dog or your cat does not step on one of those, because they've actually been known to kill animals, especially when they're attacking as a team. There's enough venom that they can push into the body of an animal to make it go into shock. So Floridians will have 2 sets of clothes, which is clothes for pretty much all year round, and then winter clothes for maybe that 1 week a year where it gets colder. And depending on where in Florida you live, up north in Tallahassee, it's going to get colder in the winter time. Where I am in Sarasota, it barely touches maybe 45 degrees in the middle of the night, but sometimes we do have a cold period that can last a few days. Snowflakes you typically never see. There's been some occurrences over the last few years, but it is pretty much rare to see snowflakes, also in Tallahassee. But when it does get colder, so say it's 65 degrees out, and we're so excited to be able to bring out our jacket, to wear our sweater, clothing that we typically don't get to wear here in Florida because it usually is so much warmer. And I'm so excited to be able to wear it because it keeps me warm. And 65 for Floridian is what 35 is up north for you guys living in the northern states. Floridians love their holiday lights. So of course we celebrate the holidays a little bit differently here, right? We don't have the snow, but what we do have is lots of palm trees, and many of them will be decorated with beautiful lights. And not only that, but people really just seem to love light shows. Depending where you live, you may have some neighbors who are really passionate about holiday lights, and they'll go all out to the point where they actually make it to the local news, and people will drive by just to see the holiday lights. And most of these people who are so passionate will do it year over year, and they kind of become famous around the area you live in. So in Sarasota, I know exactly where I need to drive to in order to be able to see these beautiful holiday lights. A lot of the shopping areas will also go all out. Take UTC area, for example. It's beautiful. And so yes, when you move to Florida, you'll find that people absolutely love their holiday lights. Florida residents get to enjoy discounted tickets to Walt Disney World. And boy, oh boy, do a lot of Floridians love going there. The discounts are actually pretty good. So you get 40% off a 4-day ticket and 30% off a 3-day ticket. And Floridians will take advantage of it. And just like a lot of people are coming to Walt Disney World from all over the world, Floridians will travel from all over Florida to hang out in Orlando for a couple of days. It's pretty accessible to most of us because it's right in Orlando, which is kind of in the middle of Florida. So no matter where you live in Florida, it's pretty easy to travel to. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know, do you agree with this list? Is there anything I should have included that I haven't? Do me a favor, like this video if you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for real estate in Sarasota County or Manatee County, I would love to team up with you. Call me or email me.